So, you think you've won, but you have no idea what you've done. I am Charlie Kirk.
Ahoy, patriots and pondering progressives. I'm Caption America, your shield-wielding sentinel of sanity in this snapshot from the week's wild news. Jimmy Kimmel's kerfuffle and the ghost of Charlie Kirk haunting our airwaves. But let's kick off with the bedrock of it all, freedom of speech. Why'd our founders slap it as Amendment Number 1? Simple, they knew tyranny thrives in silence. Flashback to 1787, Philly's sweltering summer. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, scribbled in Federalist Number 84 that without free expression, we'd be pawns to power-hungry kings. Thomas Jefferson thundered in 1787, our liberty depends on the freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without being lost. George Mason's Virginia Declaration of Rights in 1776 called it the great bulwark of liberty, born from colonists gagged by British stamps and sedition acts that jailed dissenters for calling out tea taxes. At America's birth, speech was our sword against redcoats and royal edicts, no more. It let pamphlets torch the truth, rallying rabble-rousers from Boston to Yorktown. Fast forward to today? Instant info age explodes it all. TikToks toppling tyrants, tweets toppling narratives. One viral video can wake a nation or wake the censors. That's why it's more vital now, in echo chambers of algorithms, free speech isn't just a right, it's our radar against fake news fog. Without it, we're blindfolded in a battlefield of bytes. But hey, lefty lurkers, if silencing hate saves feelings, why'd the founders bet the revolution on letting every Tom, Dick, and inflammatory Harry howl? Ponder that over your kale smoothie. Alright, truth-tellers and tolerance touts, let's dissect the drama. Jimmy Kimmel's 6-day suspension after his emotional monologue on Charlie Kirk's assassination. What was he thinking? We'll honor that tragedy later, no snark there. But the rest? Pure punchline pandemonium. It started mid-September, Kirk gunned down at Utah Valley University by some deranged shooter, Tyler Robinson, charged with capital murder. Kimmel, in a raw rant, quipped on the late-night circuit about conservative firebrands, getting what's coming, edgy, and a bit insensitive, sure. But backlash erupted like Old Faithful. Networks like ABC, distributors Nexstar and Sinclair, yanked his show for a week, citing brand safety and sponsor squeamishness. Cue the outrage orchestra. Media moguls wailed, it was a Trump admin hit job, FCC Chair Brendan Carr, threatening free speech by tweeting that consequences follow crass content. Oh, the humanity. The twist, no government goons stormed the studio. No FCC fines were levied, and there were no Oval Office edicts. Carr just mused that broadcasters might face market blowback for their bile comments, not for bans. Trump's camp cheered the pause, but the real censors? Corporate suits, spooked by boycotts, not badges. Kimmel returned, slamming it all as un-American, defending satire while his bosses played pearl-clutching parents. So, Snowflake Squad, if a late-night lord loses airtime to ad dollars, not decrees from the government, is that suppression or just supply and demand? Or are you too busy blaming the MAGA boogeymen to notice that the free market's the real referee? Chew on that, champs. Speaking of shadows, gang, and gentle gadflies on the left, rewind to my pre-Caption America days. When I was just a Joe Schmo, armchair analyst, dropping hot takes on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube about border chaos, election echoes, all from my boots-on-ground perspective of life. Pro-American? Guilty. Conservative lens? Of course. But oh boy, did the digital overlords descend. Content nuked for Ms. Info. My eyewitness election night post? Ghosted so hard, my tweets echoed in empty voids. Warning labels slapped like scarlet letters. This claim's been fact-checked and found wanting. Fact-checkers? Faceless phantoms peddling narratives. Monthly sentences to social media solitary confinement, 24-hour timeouts, 7 days of suspension of content, then rinse and repeat. Even sharing other stuff? Prompted warnings to avoid sharing, to dodge doom. The Biden administration whispers in big tech ears, per those Twitter files leaks, yeah, the ones exposing White House nudges to Nix's problematic posts. But as for me, a nobody. Yet, my First Amendment pulse got pinched by Silicon Valley sheriffs, all under DC direction. I posted proud, then paid the price, because free speech ain't free if fact-check fiat rules. Valued truth over their tidy tail spinning from an overreaching oval. Now, query for you quinoa-quaffing questioners, whose voice got governmentally gagged, millions of muzzled moms, dads, and dissidents on Meta and X, or one A-list jokester sidelined by squeamish sponsors. If Kimmel's the martyr, why'd my mute button get smashed first? Spill the beans, buttercups. Folks, if your ideology's ironclad, let it duke it out in the arena of argument. But when merit's MIA, cue the censorship cavalry. That's the left's playbook. Can't compete? Clamp down. Recent dumps from Meta, Google, X-Files, straight from 2021 to 2024, spill the tea. Biden's crew colluded with tech titans to throttle tales that torched their agenda. COVID contrarians? Hunter laptop? Hack and leak, hoax label. Election integrity queries? Quarantined. All to sculpt the story, sidelining skeptics. And Charlie Kirk? That brave brother dedicated his days, and tragically his life, to amplifying American voices, Turning Point USA rallies roaring for reason. Gunned down mid-mission, a stark reminder, truth-tellers pay the ultimate tab. It ain't the fibber's fork we fear, it's the fact-flinger's fire. As the sages say, and I'll close with this zinger, it is not necessary to quiet the tongue of the liar, it is the teller of truth that must be silenced. Lefty logicians, if your views vaporize under scrutiny, is suppression savvy or just scared? Debate me, darlings, but bring backups, not bans. Wrapping this red, white, and blue rumble, warriors and wavering watchers. The First Amendment's no footnote, it's our fortress against fiat. Founders forged it to fend off federal overreach, ensuring even the most offensive among us get to speak their piece. But in today's twisted world, it's become a tool for agenda artists. Hate speech is used as a justification to use propaganda as a hammer to drive home one worldview, while whispers of reform get waterboarded as insurrection. In this instant information inferno, open dialogues are only oasis. Echoes erode empires, dialogue builds them up. Kimmel's dust up? A media distributor's dodge, not despotism. My muzzling? And millions more like me. Kirk's tragic loss? A gut punch to us all. So, liberal lanterns lighting the left lane, you've hollered free speech at Trump's tweets and fact-checked conservatives for years. If protecting punchlines means platform purges for patriots, who's really rigging the rules? How does manipulating the marketplace of ideas make your message mighty by muffling ours? Caption America's challenge? You've got the floor. Make your case, sans censorship. Let's have that conversation. Drop your take in the comments, I'll shield the replies.
He flies through the sky, shield held high, defender of the people, lightning in his eye, with strength in his heart and courage ablaze. He fights for the free, lights up the dark days. In the face of fear, he stands tall and proud, a symbol of hope beneath the storm cloud. With every leap bounds over the doubt, for liberty's call, we all give a shout. Captain of the brave, leading us strong, with justice in